So in this video, I'm going to explain how you can use the grid to help you figure out the scale of different objects in a composition. So for example, I just did this really quick sketch of stick figures playing hockey. Stick hockey. Haha. Okay, so this idea that you got someone here, you've got someone here, you've got someone here, you've got someone here, but unless these are adults and that's a child, the relationship in their size looks off. So this is how you actually use the grid to figure this out. So once again, once you make one grid, you can just do it marker and then just use it over and over again. So I'm just going to turn on a light pad so you can see what I'm doing better. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just draw a cartoon person. And I'm going to draw them from about here to about here. Alright, so just a little bit better than a stick figure, but not that much better than a stick figure. And I'm just going to do some quick shoes, just a shirt, the hands out about here. Alright. So we have our character. So what if I have someone who, let's, for argument's sake, is the same height and they're standing back here? Well, you get to use the X in order to be able to figure out their height. And if you have a grid, it makes it way easier. So basically, we've got a figure who goes from here to this line here. So if I'm just going to, just to help, put a line up the center. So if I was to use the blocking lines to figure out the height, this is what I would use. Okay, so all I'm going to do is go from the top here back to the X. And I'm going to go from the bottom back to the X. And that will tell me the height. So if I want someone standing here, I just go straight up and down. And that will, someone of the same height would be that tall. What if they're standing back here? They would be this tall. Okay, so what if I just pick a random spot? I just want someone standing right here halfway through this square. All right, all I do is I go back. Where am I? I'm right here, halfway through this square, straight up and down here. And now I know that I can just go straight across. So actually I've already got the grid, so I can just follow this line. There's my top, and then right here, there's the bottom. So if I need to stay consistent heights, I can go ahead and draw the same person here, and that would have a consistent scale from this object to this object. Okay, and one other thing I just wanted to show is this idea of doing people in perspective. So if someone is standing up and down, you just draw them as you normally would. What happens if they're lying down? So it's that idea of, if you're not sure how to draw something, draw it as if it was a box and then change it. And that's basically what we did when we learned to draw like a couch. We started really square and then just went back and changed it. So I'm going to take the idea of the person's lying down, and I'm going to give myself a rectangle, the usual. And how long do I want this person to be? I'm going to go from here to here. Okay, so at that point I just start looking at the proportions of the figure. And so I actually I made sure I went to the top of the jeans about halfway to make my life easy, and we know how to do that. We're going to find the middle, and that middle is way up here, so that means the top of the pants, and we know the middle of the pants would go back to the X, and here's the bottom of the shoes right there. just keeping it really simple. And then I would go ahead and I would divide from here to here and divide from here to here to figure out my proportions. So I'm going to go ahead, find the halfway to give myself reference. So the face would only be, the head would only be about this big, right? The shoulders have to come out. The hands were right about here. And everybody looks like Lego figures when you start. So now all of a sudden we can take this figure, and that will give us the lines that we need in order to start drawing in perspective, so that we have the blocking lines. We can go the other way too. We can start with this idea, and now all of a sudden the pants are way down here. Here's your feet are way down here. And all of a sudden the head is going to end up being huge, like this. Right, here's your shoulders coming out. And again, the arms are pointing towards the X. And we get this kind of proportion. This is called foreshortening. When you have things like, here's your hand like this, but to draw it like this, eek, it's a lot harder. But it's a lot easier if you use one-point perspective to get yourself started whenever you're trying to do something complicated as this.